Yes, he's in. He's in.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic. So Ben, please highlight our Papa Alhaji Tanko Yakasai.
Yes.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Dele. How are you?
Very, very well. Daddy. Thank you, sir.
Good to have you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Yes.
Ben, can you please highlight Alhaji Tanko Yakasai?
Hello?
Okay, good. We can see that, sir.
Okay. Do you want me to start?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Well, I wish to start by thanking the organizers of this event for inviting me and inviting some of my friends who were together at the time of the struggle for independence to date. I'll go on to my address. Mr. Chairman, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, this event is taking place to enable our people mark the 51 years of the end of the unfortunate episode in our history. Left to us, we will rather totally forget about our civil war, but as human beings, it is beyond our ability to forget an event that was a defining moment in our political history. We shall continue to refer to those moments to learn lessons and reassess our current political activities and the question of national unity. To mark the end of our civil war, we cannot help but to remember the history of the Civil War itself and the colossal loss of multitudes of lives and property in our country. Our Civil War started in 1967. Its origin is traceable to the 15th of January 1966, attempted military coup. Friday, January 15, was the day our nation woke up with the sad story of attempted military takeover by a few young Nigerian members of our military establishment. The known figures in that colors move by a few young people in military uniform were Major Chukuma Kaduna Nzeku, Major Don Okafu, Major Emmanuel Vijina, Chris Alforo, Major Tim Onwe, Major Humphrey Chukuka, Major Adewale Ademuyego, Captain Emmanuel Nwobosi, Captain Ben Uli, and Captain Ochi, all of the Nigerian Army. Out of 10, 10 out of 10 actors in that event were of Igbo in extraction, and one from the Yoruba ethnic group, none from the north. And mind realize that event cannot be sustainable. Situation and murdered one of his wives along with him. Those who abducted Sir Abubakar Tafawa Balewa also abducted the then Federal Minister of Finance, Chief Festus Okotie-Eboh, who was later murdered along with the Prime Minister Tafawa Balewa. Brigadier General Zakaria Malari was shot dead by a Virginia who was his brigade major, whom he stopped for a lift after escaping an attack on his house by the coup plotters. In that very fateful early morning, colleagues of those who abducted the Prime Minister also attacked the house of Chief S.N.A. Akintola, the Premier of Western Region, and murdered him. As if that was not enough, the insurgents rounded up leading Nigerian military officers, including the house of Brigadier General Zakaria Malari, Brigadier General Ademulego, Colonel Yakubu Pam, Colonel Kur Mohammed, and other senior military officers, and executed them. All the murdered individuals were from different parts of the country except the then Eastern region. That was the story of that darkest day in our history. It was the event that opened the unfortunate chapter in our history, which leads to the series of events that brought about the civil war in Nigeria. Even though Major General Agui Ironsi thwarted the coup and became head of state, his actions such as making Nigeria a unitary state instead of the existing federal arrangement, and his appointment of many Igbos into sensitive positions at the beginning of his regime, which caused the serious concern and specter of ruination to people in the rest of the country, did not sit well with the aggrieved northerners still nursing the wounds of the elimination of most of their top military officers and government functionaries in January 1966. The July 1966 counter coup was bloodier than the first one and saw the death of 42 officers, mostly Igbo of Igbo origin. That and the killing of Igbos in some northern Nigerian cities, among other reasons, including some alleged bad blood which is said to be existing between the then military governor of Eastern region, Colonel Odumegu Ojukwu, and General Yakubu Kawan, the then new military head of state, led to the secession attempt of the Eastern region of Nigeria and the subsequent civil war that started. Recall that during the last constitutional conference before our independence, a motion was tabled for the conference to insert a clause in our constitution for any section of Nigeria to break away from the country. The motion was roundly rejected by the delegates, and the indivisibility of the Nigerian nation was enshrined in our constitution. Also recall that attempts were made mostly through the good offices of our leading figures and foreign friends to bring about peaceful resolution of the secession attempt. But such interventions were not successful. The result was the move by the then federal military government under the leadership of General Yakubu Gowon to embark on what was called police action to sustain the unity of the country, which resulted in 3 years of civil war to keep Nigeria one. As soon as the civil war was over, the federal military government introduced what it called 3 R's program. The 3 R's program meant reconciliation, rehabilitation, reintegration program. While some measures of success were recorded in the implementation of the 3R program, due to human factors, some of the aspects of the program were not achieved speedily. But it is gratifying to note that our country has since achieved tremendous success in healing the wounds of the Civil War, and Nigerians are now living with one another in peace and harmony. People regarded as the main protagonists of that time, especially the Igbos and Northerners, are now living with one another as best of friends. There are many Northerners living in different parts of Igbo land today, while there are Igbos are found in every nook and cranny of Nigeria, particularly in places like Lagos, which is the foremost hub of economic activity in our country, and in the north, forming the largest number of non-indigenous inhabitants in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, which is located in northern Nigeria. Despite this level of post-war progress, several burning political issues remain to haunt our political landscape. These include: one, continuous call for a review of the 1999 Constitution and the need to restructure Nigeria. Two, insecurity in different parts of the country arising from military invasion and terrorist activities in the country. Three, the current secessionist movement with the state of Biafra under the umbrella of IPOB over 50 years after the Civil War was over. And four, the mistrust among major sub-regional groups which remain a threat to democratic process in our country. Lastly, we'll need to learn lessons from the Civil War 51 years ago and address squarely the fractional tendencies in the country today. Unity, peace, trade, justice, democracy, and development must be made to work for Nigeria to keep it one and stronger. We should tackle the issue by deliberately skewing our next development plan and constitution to contain integration strategy as one of the major features of the plan. I thank you very much for your time, and I wish you the best on that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Elder Tanko Yakasai. And you have taken your time to rail out, the histories that, as I would say respectfully, being understood and as was lived during your time. Now, we will be bringing other guests. However, there are some points that you raised that I would gladly want those who are also aware and who were around during the time, because what this event here today being organized by Nzuko Omunna, an Igbo think tank, and being supported by Njenje Media TV and Ovation International, is to bring the narrative to the fore, where we can, as Professor said before at the beginning, and Reverend Bishop Cooker also noted, that we will get to the point that we can build something together. As the team said, never again. Never again that can things that had happened in the past happen before. On that note, I would say, if we have Elder Emma Elazu, if he's here, he can speak, and I would beg him if he can touch on some of the points as contained in the speech of Elder Tanko Yakasai. Elder Emma Elazu, is he here? Back office, can you please spotlight him? And he can take over the podium.